Welcome to Movie House Cinemas. Popcorn? Yes, please. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the movie. Reclining chairs? Don't mind if I do. Action, thriller, romance, we got it all. Discover the cinema today. Movie House Cinemas, home of the movies.
Good evening, and welcome along to a Robin Elliott Tonight special. Coming up on the show, I'll be chatting to American singer-songwriter Kimmie Rhodes, who's worked with music legends throughout the years, people like Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings. She's back with a brand new album, in fact her 19th studio album. It's called Hypnotized. We'll be chatting to Kimmie, and she'll be performing live in the studio as well. We have some brand new music from singer-songwriter Paul Casey, and we're going to feature a very special song that's currently raising money for the charity Dementia NI. It's called The Journey by Cora Kelly, and we'll feature that and talk to some of the guys from the charity a bit later on. But before all that, Kimmie Rhodes was in the studio with me earlier on this week. Here's what happened. Joining me in the studio is a lady who's always welcome here. We're talking about singer-songwriter Kimmie Rhodes, who joins me now. Kimmie, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? I'm so glad to see you. It's been way too long.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Been a long. I don't even know how long, but I was so happy to hear from you and that I was in town and had time to come down before the show tonight. Ireland has always been great to me. I really, and I say it and I mean it, I believe the best audiences I've ever played for a singer-songwriter are here in Ireland. They really get it. They sing along. They know the words. They listen. It's a lovely place for a singer-songwriter. Like not my friend Nancy Griffith. You know, I used to see that she was coming here, and I was like, well, what's that all about?
She loved it here.
Mm-hmm.
She really
yeah,
did.
and they loved her.
Yeah. What was Nancy like as a person?
Oh, she was real sweet. She was a real sweetheart. We started out in Austin sort of playing in some of the same places as just kind of folk singers or whatever, just singer-songwriter clubs. And then she moved to Nashville, and I stayed in Austin. I worked in Nashville a lot, but I lived in Austin, so I didn't see her as much. I would go to her Christmas tea sometimes that she had for the ladies in Nashville, and I'd see her. And I did some shows. I did a show in Indianapolis that she was part of, a Farm Aid show with Willie Nelson, and she was there. And she said, she was just so sweet, she said, "You and Willie are just cute as a bug."
And of course, Willie is somebody who's very special in your life as well, and always has been, hasn't he?
Well, he has been since I moved to Austin. I really have had a very charmed life. And I went from living in North Texas, completely different life, lived on a family farm, was still kind of at the end of my first marriage, had 2 kids, and I came to Austin to make music. And I met Joe Gracie, who was co-author of the book there. And I mean, on my first day in Austin, I walked into the studio. I met my muse, my love of my life, started my first band, started making records, and that led to knowing Willie Nelson because Joe Gracie had been on the radio and was an iconic DJ really in the startup of the Austin music scene when the Armadillo and all that was going on. So he really kind of was the first outlaw DJ. And so I met him. We worked together for a few years. We fell in love. But before we were married, Gracie had played Willie's records when Willie first came to Austin. You know, a little known story was Willie's had quit the music business and had a pig farm.
Right.
The pig farm burned. And Willie told me himself he didn't know how to do anything but play music, and Sister Bobby was living in Austin. And so he heard about the scene there, the whole scene, and Gracie was already on the radio, the scene was already going. And so Willie came to Austin, and that's when things really took off for him as a singer. Before he'd been trying in Nashville with Chet Atkins and all that. So, but anyway, so Gracie, when Willie came to town, was playing Willie's records. And it's kind of a long story, but before that, Gracie was a DJ in Fort Worth growing up when he first heard Willie's music.
Yeah.
And so, and he just went, he called his friends in and said, "This is great music. I like this." You know, so all those kids in Fort Worth that were listening, he was still a teenager then, started listening to Willie records. So it came back very honestly, this format in Austin on Coke FM.
Right, okay.
That's the name, Coke FM. and so he was playing Willie's records, and one thing led to another, and I met Willie through that. And then I met Willie one day on the golf course, and he invited me to make my first record at his recording studio. We had been doing demos in Gracie's little studio in the basement of Coke FM. Gracie lost his voice to cancer.
Yeah.
And so he moved into the basement and started producing records.
Yeah.
And that was how he stayed in the music business, and that's how I met him. And he'd produced some stuff on Stevie Ray Vaughan, some of the early stuff before Stevie was a star.
Yeah.
And so we were out at Willie's studio. It was invitation only, and we went out to the golf course with his daughter Lana, and Willie, it was like he zoomed in on me, looked me straight in the eyes, and knew immediately what he was looking at. And so he invited me to come out to his studio and make my first record, and a friendship started. And there's a lot of stories, more than we have time to tell, but they're in the book. Radio Dreams, the story of the outlaw DJ and the cosmic cowgirl.
Wow. So you were that cosmic cowgirl?
I was the cosmic cowgirl, and I just fit right into that whole scene.
Yeah.
When I showed up with my first little handful of songs, and it led to just lots of stories. I was younger than everyone, but I was that kid in the room hearing all those stories with Jimmy Day, the legendary steel guitar player. I was in his band, and Willie and all those guys.
What about Waylon Jennings? Because I'm fascinated by his story, because he was a crazy guy, but an interesting guy as well, wasn't he?
Well, by the time I met him, he was on the other side of crazy. He was after the craziest time, and Waylon and I both grew up in West Texas, and I had a record called West Texas Heaven that was doing well, and I started working with Willie, and Beth Nielsen Chapman gave Waylon one of my songs, a song called I Just Drove By, a song that opened a lot of doors for me. And I came home from the grocery store one day, and there was a message on my answering machine. It was back when we still had answering machines. And there was a message from Waylon Jennings. And I tell this in my story, that I'm doing a kind of a storytelling, songwriting thing. That's what I'm in town to do. But so I listened to it, and it's Waylon Jennings. So I took the cassette out and ran all over the neighborhood playing it for everybody, going, listen to this, listen to this. And then on about the 20th play, I realized he was asking me to call him back. So I did, and I ended up recording with him at Cowboy Clement. Now I knew him. He'd produced Waylon's "Dreaming My Dreams" record, but they hadn't seen each other in a long time. They'd even been, for a short stint, been brother-in-laws, I think, or something. But anyway, so I called Cowboy because Waylon wanted to meet me and record. I called Cowboy and I said, I don't have any money, but I'll swap you something, but let me in because Waylon wants to record. So it was kind of fun that day to watch Waylon come in and kind of reunite with Cowboy. I also recorded a song with Townes Van Zandt that day too.
Wow, that's special too.
Yeah, it was. So that led to a long, and the story's in the book. It's hilarious. And that just led to a really deep and wonderful friendship with Waylon, and we did some shows together. He loved my little girl Jolie. Waylon loved kids. Yeah. And there's some really good stories about Waylon, but again, they're in the book. I had to write a book because there is just not time to tell all the stories. But you could read it and have and then let me know what you need to know for your project that you're working on.
Definitely, yeah. Tell me about Emmylou Harris as well, because she's somebody else who's been very special in your life, hasn't she?
Well, Emmylou, I always loved Emmylou. I had done, when I first started coming over to the UK, I was playing the big Wembley Festival. Yeah. And I first met Emmylou doing an Austin City Limits with Willie and Emmy and Rodney Crowell. Yeah. And I was just the kid, still kid sister. So I met her there, and then I came to do the Wembley Festival, and she was here at the Wembley Festival. And I remember getting in the elevator, And Emmy Lou said, "Hi, Kimmie," and I was surprised she even knew who I was. But we did that. That one actually toured around Europe.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and then fast forward years later, I'm with a publisher that belonged to Herb Alpert and Jerry Moss.
Wow.
It was they had Rondor music. This particular Nashville, where I was signed, was Almo Irving, and Emmy had an admin deal with them. They were her publisher too, so she wanted to write with me.
Yeah.
And so we wrote some songs. We wrote a song I know that you want to hear.
This is what I'm going to ask
I
about,
know.
because this song has touched so many people around the world. Love and Happiness for You. It's such a I mean, it's a lullaby essentially, isn't it?
It's a lullaby. My guitar was in this open tuning that I'm in today, and I got snowed in Nashville, so I couldn't go over. I had this appointment to go write with Emmy, but I couldn't get over there because I was snowed in. So I started messing around with this tuning I didn't know how to play in, and started this little song, just the first bit of it, and had the title, you know, Love and Happiness for You. And so when the snow finally cleared up enough for me to drive over there, Emmy had a big fire going in the fireplace. And as she put it, we just finished each other's sentences. I mean, the song really just kind of wrote itself, and it was going to be my son Jeremy's birthday. So I said, well, if we could write this, then I could give it to him for his birthday. And I always kept lyrics. I've always been an archivist. I kept everything right then and got things signed, and which led to this thing at the Country Music Hall of Fame that we can talk about later. But I had the lyric where we wrote it and had her sign it to my son Jeremy, and had that I could put in a birthday card and give to him. And then so we wrote the song. She said, well, let's just write that a lullaby for all our kids. Now we have grandkids.
Yeah.
But the song just had really broad appeal. So about a week later, she called me, and she was going to be in Austin, and asked me to do Austin City Limits with her and sing the song. And it just happened to be on Jeremy's birthday.
Wow.
So it was great, because she said, are you going to tell him? He was in the audience, and she said, are you going to tell him? And then we've got this whole live audience. And I said, I'm afraid if I do, I won't be able to get through the song. So she dedicated the song to Jeremy and gave it to him for his birthday. And then in the car after he knew we had the lyric, he said, can I have the lyric? And I already had it in a birthday card and gave it to him signed. So it's just, I love killing about 10 birds with one stone.
And when my daughter was born, we played that song as well. And I know Ralph McLean did the same when his daughter was born.
He played it
too.
in the
He played it
delivery
in the
room.
delivery room, exactly.
I know, and then I went on his show one time here, and I didn't know. I mean, I cry easily sometimes, and so not so much as I used to, but we were there, and he brought his little daughter in. His wife brought his daughter in, and they're sitting right there, and I'm playing live on BBC Ulster, and I'm just trying to get through with this little baby looking at me while I'm singing the song. But it's such an honor. And then she recorded the song with Mark Knopfler.
Yes, of
I
course.
recorded the song with Joe Ely for his Lullaby album.
Yeah.
And then Willie and I had recorded it, but I hadn't released it. And then I did a sort of a commemorative vinyl when vinyl came back, and put that on as the bonus track. So, but it's all out there. If people go to KimmieRhodes.com, you can download any of it. It's all there. You can just grab the download off my website.
Well, we've talked a lot about the song, so will you do it for me now?
I will.
Fabulous.
I would love to.
Here we go. This is such a special song. Love and Happiness for You. Here's Kimmie Rhodes.
Here's a wishing well. Here's a penny for any thought it so you'll always know you're safe from harm. Wear your ruby shoes when you're far away, so you'll always stay home in your heart. You will always have a lucky star, what shines because of what you, even in the deepest dark, because your aim is true. Oh, if I could have one wish, then it would be this: love and happiness for you. Here's a spinning wheel. You use it once you've learned. There's a way to turn straw to gold. Here's a rose. Count on every beat with a prayer to keep the hope you hold. I'll always have a lucky star, shines because of what you are, even in the deepest dark, because your aim is true. Oh, if I could only have one wish, then it would be this: love and happiness for you. Oh, if I could only have one wish, then it would be this: love and happiness for you.
Is your child a budding chef? Do you think they could be the next culinary sensation, the rising star young chef of the year? If your child is aged between 10 and 16, this is their chance to shine. Simply send a short video of them cooking their signature dish and telling us a little bit about themselves, along with their details to youngchefni@gmail.com. Entries close June 30th, 2024, so get your child's entry in now.
Heading to the North Coast, the Jet Centre in Coleraine offers entertainment for everyone. There's an 8-screen movie house cinema with all the best movies, 10-pin bowling, a massive arcade, soft play for the wee ones. Outdoors, there's a mini fun park and gem mining, plus an 18-hole floodlit mini golf course. Rain or shine, there's something for everyone here at the Jet Centre. Find out more at thejetcentre.co.uk.
I was once sitting on top of a world that was spinning like a hit 45. The needle lifted up to my surprise. It got flipped to the B-side line. Now I'm contemplating anything worth saving about the world changing under my watch. Automatic music incorporated. I feel like an old jukebox. Rave on. Automatic Music Inc. It's like building a boat and sailing it out and wondering why it sinks. There was a little bit more to songs before they started running them through the machines. Rave on, Automatic Music Inc. I was once grooving to a sound that was moving through a seabird Cadillac. Now I'm reminiscing about a world gone missing. It ain't ever coming back. And I'm contemplating anything worth saving about the world changing under my watch. Automatic Music Incorporated. I feel like an old jukebox. Rave on. Automatic Music Inc. It's like building a boat, sailing it out, and wondering why it sinks. There was a little bit more to songs before they started running them through the machines. Rave on, Automatic Music. Rave on, Automatic Music Inc.
And welcome back to Robin Elliott Tonight. It's a special one tonight. We are chatting to singer-songwriter Kimmie Rhodes. So we mentioned your website there as well. If people want to get their hands on the book, Radio Dreams, is that available from your website as well?
Well, I tell you, for here, people would want to go to like Amazon UK
Yeah.
and just get it and send it straight to them. It's internationally released on. I self-published.
Yeah.
I was very careful about how I published the book, and I talked to different publishing companies and different university presses and things, and I decided that I was going to be the one that was going to love the book more than anyone else and give it more time than anyone else and promote it more than anyone else, so I might as well just own the book. So I self-published.
Wow.
On the advice of some pretty big authors that I knew. And I self-published it, and now I've been doing a tour like this. For example, this one, once the book came out, I decided it would be a lot more fun to tour storytelling and songs with the book.
Yeah, exactly.
And I did a thing here with Ralph McLean, an evening with. I
Yeah.
did a thing with Bob Harris over in England, and but that was like 6 years ago since the book came out. But I figure it took me 6 years to write it, so I get 6 years to promote it. But now that's become such a part of what I'm doing is solo. This is my first time to play solo.
Wow.
In all the many years since the 80s.
Because last time you hear it, your son Gabe was with you.
Yeah, Gabe comes with me, or I've had big bands, or I've done different configurations of different things. But because I've been doing so much of this at home, at home I still play with Gabe. My grandson plays, so I have a duo, I have a trio. My grandson plays great piano, Louis.
Yeah.
And also have a new band called Happy Land that's 7-piece. So I can do all those different things now, but I love to talk about the stories in the book, and I want people to read the book, so I don't want to just go, well, that's done, because the stories live on, and they're such a part of the show now.
Exactly.
So I have done a set that I actually tested on a couple of house concerts before I left to practice up. And for these shows, I'm doing the first part is storytelling and songs, a lot of them that are in the book.
Yeah.
And then the second set, I go into new songs from my album Hypnotized that just came out. The thing about the book is kind of a brochure for a much larger project that I did. Joe Gracie had started this book, Radio Dreams.
Yeah.
And just like a man, he left us and didn't finish it, and I just felt like it would be a great tribute to him to finish it. And during all of that, I had a lot of archives. I had many things. I had hundreds of reel-to-reel tapes that Gracie had recorded on a 4-track TAC of everything that happened in the music scene in Austin in the 70s, that beginning of the whole outlaw thing.
Yeah.
And I had all the things that he had written. He was the first rock critic for the paper in Austin, The Statesman, and he wrote for the Street Rag, The Sun, and so I had many things he'd written. And I also had a really special thing. A pen pal of his from those days got in touch with me and gave me all these letters he had written during the whole time that he was on the radio, during the time he lost his voice, what happened after that. So I would not have had that precious material had it not been for the pen pal who shared those things. So I had the start of the book, which was his childhood. I had all of those letters, all the things that he'd written, and then I had my story, and my story is pretty interesting too, which we haven't talked about much, but my dad, and I was the daughter of 2 orphans, and my dad grew up at a carnival and decided I was a singer at 6 years old. So my story of how I got into music was interesting, and then meeting Gracie and Waylon and Willie and all that stuff. So
what were you singing at 6 years old?
I was singing gospel songs, and that was actually later. That was my connection with Willie, as we grew up at the same age singing the same gospel songs. So we had that connection, and our music was rooted in that. So, and the harmonies were all the same and everything. So, it all kind of went together in this one big giant synchronicity. But
did you know from the age of 6 this is what you were going to do? You were going to go on and be a singer or a songwriter?
No, I was already a singer. I wanted to be a florist, and
really?
So that's so that was just another thing that worked out, because my first job went straight and got my first job as a florist. It's the only job I ever had.
Right.
I was a florist for 17 years, and during that 17 years, I started being in the music business. And I started writing songs, and I went back to singing. My dad was right. I was a singer. Yeah. He saw it at 6 years old.
Wow, that's amazing.
But he was an orphan at 6 years old, so I think he was just looking at me going, what could she do if something like that happened to her? Because he had no idea how to be a dad. Yeah. And there are hilarious stories in the book about him, going to the store for a loaf of bread and not coming home for 2 or 3 weeks later. And I'm doing it. One of the things I'm able to do in this show that I don't do with the band is a song I wrote called Daddy's Song, that's about that and my dad, and a song called Windblown. So I'm really loving telling the stories, autobiographical and everything. But also I wanted to tell you that what happened in the course of all that was the Country Music Hall of Fame Museum in Nashville got in touch. And I was doing a radio show called Radio Dreams for 9 months. It was a tribute to Gracie. Yeah. Lots of interviews and stuff. So I went in to hook up with them to try to get some interviews that I wanted. And they wanted my archives.
Yes.
So that led to a big, long going through all of those things. And I organized all of the written things and the recordings into folders that are the chapters of the book.
Right, yeah.
So then as I got ready to write a chapter, I had the music, I had all the written stuff organized. So I said it was like, our life was like the string.
Yes, yeah.
And all these different archives and written things and things I had written and stories were like the pearls, and I just had to put them together. So it starts with Gracie's childhood, then it goes to my childhood. It starts with him being a teenager, then me being a teenager, him getting into radio, him moving to Austin, me moving to Austin, us meeting, and then our lives together after that. Yeah. It's a story where the hero dies, but it's also, I think, one of my real motivations with the book was I thought it would help people through cancer, not just the people with the cancer, but caregivers, because There's that.
Yeah.
And then how I grieved and how I moved on, and it's been 14 years, and I'm still going.
You are, exactly.
Yeah, there's a song on the new album called "Take Me the Long Way Home."
Right.
That I wrote in my sleep, but it's about that.
Wow. I often think about Gracie as well, because as a radio presenter, the worst thing in the world could be losing your voice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that not just having cancer, but losing your voice must have been horrendous for him.
Well, it was awful, and he knew. There's a chapter in there called Contrabandistas. It's where he writes about the journey of going through that, and so you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth, as we say in Texas.
Yeah.
But he was such a strong spirit, and he was very young at the time. And so Cowboy Jack Clement was his mentor, and he said, "Look, nobody knows more what a record's supposed to sound like than you. Produce records."
Yeah.
So his grandfather helped him, and he started a business called Joe Gracie Productions. It later became Gracie Rhodes Productions when we merged. But he had the encouragement of the people around him, and he had more than just. He was also a great writer.
Yeah.
And so he just moved into the basement and started producing records because he still loved music, and he still had to keep on living. What do you do?
Yeah.
And so that was how I met him. And then, as time passed, he did produce a lot. He had a accidental hit on a guy in France named Calvin Russell, which led to all these French people coming to make records with him. So it's just been a really, really mighty yellow brick road that both of us just followed. And I'm still on it. I guess he is too somewhere.
You're still on it, and on the 19th album.
I'm on the 19th album,
We've got to talk about this, Hypnotized, because it's been very well received. The reviews have been amazing, haven't they?
It's been really good. And there's a song, and I'm not going to do it today because I'm doing this tuning for Love and Happiness, and I'm going to do another song from the album that's in that tuning. But there's a song on it called No Tom Petty that everybody's just gone crazy over. And were I a younger, just beginning person, it would probably have been a smash hit. But it's been a hit for me anyway. We have Sirius XM in America, and they immediately came back. He could not have had time to even listen to the whole album.
Yeah.
It's song 2.
Okay.
And he said, that's a hit.
Yeah.
And asked for the WAV files instead of just the MP3. And he sent it to the Outlaw, Sirius XM Outlaw. There's also Willie's channel, and then there's a Tom Petty channel. So that was like the first thing you'd want, and I got it just with an email before I even got a publicist on board. And, I'm not getting too worked up about promo and stuff anymore these days. I just... the music's out. It's the first music. I pressed this little CD just for the shows that I'm doing here in Ireland.
People still want a CD sometimes.
Sometimes they do, but not in America. I mean, cars don't even have CD players anymore, and computers don't. And there's no way to play a CD. So I've had to get practical about that. I'm working with a label. It's like a label with a company that does streaming.
Right. Yeah.
And I've always a little bit pioneered the way in my demographic anyway. And so I did not press a CD except for the shows here with the dates on the back, and that I could sell at the shows. And just especially for Ireland because they wanted it. But I'm doing a thing where you split the revenue like you would, it's like a 30 Tigers or one of those labels in America that wouldn't really work for me. But it's working just great for me because they set up all the streaming. So if you go to KimmieRhodes.com, wait for the little window that pops up, click on the link, it takes you to about 10 ways to listen. So in a way, it's easier for me, in terms of selling the music. Yeah. And then the book, I did just an international. If you're in Japan, you just go to Amazon Japan or France or UK. Anywhere you buy books, and you can get the iBook, you can get the Kindle book, or you can get the album. So
exactly. Well, we better finish up with a song from the album.
Okay.
What are you going to do for us?
A song called Just Love that I wrote.
Brilliant.
That people who like love and happiness are really going to like that.
Excellent. Well, the album Hypnotized is out now. We're going to hear a track. Here she is, performing live. Always good to see her. Here is the fabulous 'Kimmie' Rhodes. 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 'Kimmie'
Don't save it for a rainy day. Love was meant to give away. What good is love if you don't give it? If broken mirrors bring bad luck, don't you worry, don't give up. What good is life if you don't live it? When the sun comes up in the morning, every new day starts again. Just let one foot follow the other, and you'll know right where to begin. Just love. Just love. Guess every dog will have its day to chase the old black cat away, and spoons will run off with the dishes. If broken mirrors shatter dreams, be that as it may, it's a penny isn't much to pay for wishes. When the sun comes up in the morning, every new day starts again. Just put one foot in front of the other, and you'll know right where to begin. Just love. Just love. Just love.
Do you know a mighty woman who has made a significant impact in her community or profession? Share her story today. Nominate now for the Mighty Women Big Lunch 2024, which is taking place at the fabulous Titanic Hotel Belfast on June 23rd. To nominate someone deserving of recognition, simply email mightywomenlunch@gmail.com. Please include your nominee's contact details and explain why she should be part of this incredible event. Let's celebrate women who make a difference. Join us at the Mighty Women Big Lunch.
Here we are on the North Coast, where sporting legends are made. He needs this putt to advance to the next stage, but can he do it? The crowd are holding their breath. Can he cope with the pressure?
Dad, would you take the shot?
Well, and welcome back to Robin Elliott tonight. We're going to hear some brand new music now and a fabulous new song that's currently raising money for Dementia NI. The single's called The Journey, and here's the music video.
I won't lie, I was terrified when the doctor said those words. My feet went from beneath me, could not believe what I just heard. If I judged my condition from what I saw on television, I gave up. It's a slippery road, but I keep my feet planted. I have the strength to hold the cards I've been handed. If I stumble, if my feet fall, or if I need some assistance, I know the journey's long, but it's worth the distance. My voice is mine, I don't need someone to say what's on my mind. Though the love I have to help me is the best that you could find. And I worry for my loved ones, 'cause the future is the one. No, I stay strong. It's a slippery road, but I keep my feet planted. I have the strength to hold the cards I've been handed. If I stumble, if my feet fall, or if I need some assistance, I know the journey's long, but it's worth the distance. I found my place, I'm surrounded by faces who understand me. Our worries and fears soon disappear after a conversation and a warm cup of tea. It's a slippery road, but I keep my feet planted. I have the strength to hold the cards I've been handed. If I stumble, if my feet fall, or if I need some assistance, I know the journey's long, but it's worth the distance. I know the journey's long, but it's worth the distance.
Brand new music, that's called The Journey. That's a single from Cora Kelly that's currently raising money for Dementia NI. To tell us more about the song and about the charity, I'm pleased to say Jane and Martin join us in the studio. Guys, thank you for coming in. Jane, let's start with you because you've done a fabulous job on that record.
Yeah, we're really, really excited about the song. It's been absolutely amazing for us. It was a joint project between Dementia NI members and a local musician, Cora Kelly. Dementia NI members wrote all the lyrics, which is fantastic, and it just goes to show what you can achieve with a diagnosis of dementia. They've done an amazing job. It takes you through the story of a dementia diagnosis, through the different stages, starting from those initial feelings of fear and concern about what lies ahead, moving towards, the realization that it is possible to live well with dementia, that there is hope. And that's what our members wanted to do, really. They're all people from Northern Ireland with a diagnosis of dementia, and they wanted to get a message of hope out to anyone out there who's been newly diagnosed, to let them know that it's not the end. You can carry on and you can live well with the support of your friends and family and the support of Dementia NI.
And somebody who is proof of that is Martin, who's sitting here now. You were diagnosed nearly 10 years ago, weren't you?
I was diagnosed in '63, and when you're diagnosed with dementia, it's a shock, and you sort of expect, you're doing stuff wrong, but it's a shock when you still get the diagnosis, and there's a million things goes through your head. It's hard to say. It's like a million people talking to you at the one time. I had one of my sons with me at the time, and the consultant said, would you like your son to come in? And I says, no, I didn't want my son to come in. I wanted to wait until I went home and got my 4 sons together with my wife and tell them first before I told anybody. But I've never had my diagnosis. I have been quite open from the start. Yeah. As soon as I told my family, I told everyone else. And my friends, my family have been absolutely fantastic. It is hard to do it without friends and family and good friends. And after that, I was introduced to Dementia NI, who changed my life. Like, I was in a real bad spot, and I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know what to do. I was getting little bits of help. There was a social worker coming out. It's not the same. If you're living on your own, which I was at the time, life's very hard. Yeah. It's hard to admit that you have dementia. I took the courage. I was throwing stuff out. I was throwing keys out. I was throwing money out. I was.
So was that the start of the symptoms then, when you realised there was something wrong?
That was when I took the courage. I was doing lots of things before. I was getting lost. I ended up in an airport and ended up wandering about the streets. When you know you're doing this, you're leaving gas, you're leaving water on, you're leaving. These are things that a normal person doesn't do, but I was doing them. You either tell somebody or you keep it in, and I advised anybody to tell. The sooner you get help, the better it is for you. I told my GP, who acted quite quick because she had a bit of experience in it, and all of a sudden there was people coming from here and there and different apartments, but I was still in an awful place. I was still awful. My sons were great. My sons were advising me, you'll be okay, Danny, look, don't worry, we're here. I have a sister, she was an angel. She kept popping in and out, and you'll be, I just happened to walking by the street there, but I thought I'd call in and see you. You know, right, Lisa's one of the ones that's just calling in to see you. But I got introduced to Dementia NI, and from the minute I got introduced to Dementia NI, I was brought down till we used to be round beside, what do you call it, wee street here, where the Opera House is, up the wee street there, facing the bus station. Yeah. And I went up the stairs and I could hear laughter, I could hear people laughing and I could hear people talking. When I went into the room, this was a crowd of people around the table that had dementia, which I didn't know. These were complete strangers to me. Listen, they all introduced themselves to me. I introduced myself to them. I started talking to them and as a normal person and enjoyed in the crack. We were in that was one of our empowerment offices, meetings. I went in, I joined the laugh, joined the crack. I couldn't believe this was me. This is the same Martin that came in a sad person and coming out a happy person. When I met home, my kids noticed the difference in me right away, and so did my wife, and she says, what's happened to you? And I says, I went to one of the best things he ever had. I went to one of the best group meetings I've ever had, and I've never missed a dementia group meeting from it. And I've volunteered for, I've done loads and loads of stuff, and I've volunteered for anything that's going. Keep active.
And you're keeping out, you're involved in your bowling club as well, aren't you?
I'll go to the bowling club. I'll go out with my sons once a week on a Friday. My 4 sons go out with 4 of my mates, who are absolutely fantastic. They don't mention dementia, they don't mention anything else. I'll go out with another 2 friends on a Wednesday. That's to the bowling club. My friend picks me up at the door. You have the couple of pints, you have a bit of crack and a laugh. He makes sure that he brings you back to the house, make sure you're in the house. It's like being a babysitter. Yeah. But look, you can't do without help like this. My help, the majority of my help, my family, my thing, but the most of my help came from dementia, and I can't thank them enough. I thought my life was over. Yeah. Little did I know that it was just beginning. Yeah. It was just beginning. Then I became involved in loads of stuff. I loved it. I wanted to be involved in everything. I was volunteering for everything. When the song came up, the song was something special.
And did you have some input into the lyrics of the song?
Every one of us, me and 8 or 10 other ones, we all chucked our words in, and words that we changed, and Cora was coming in and asking you, do you think that's all right, do you need this word changed? And then she finally came back a lot of weeks later with a final thing. Listen, I was crying, I still cry, I'm not ashamed to say it. When I listen to it, it brings tears to my eyes. The words are absolutely fantastic. I advise anybody to listen to it, and if they need any help, come to our groups, come to our empowerment groups. The facilitators, the empowerment officers, the staff, the volunteers, listen, they can't do enough for you. They make, it's like a family. Yeah. It's hard. Loads of the people in the dementia groups have become very good friends of mine. And even that, we were meeting, going out for a cup of coffee after. We might have went walking, but we went for a wee cup of coffee and had the crack we had between us when we were doing the stalls, where we're going around schools, where we're going around hospitals, where we're going around bus stations. We're getting the word out to as many people as we can. And we've been busy the last few days. We were out yesterday filming in the BBC. This is because I want to do it. Yeah. I put my name, I volunteer for anything that's going. I don't care what it is. If it's selling lollies at the corner, I'll be your man, as long as it's for Dementia NI, and it helps us.
Well, Jane, it's great to see the work that Dementia NI is doing, but like all charities, you need those vital funds brought in, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. We'd love everybody to go to the website, dementiani.org, check out the song. I hope you enjoy it, and please donate. All the money stays local. And we'll go towards empowering local people with dementia across Northern Ireland to live well on their journey with dementia. And
of course, if people want to get in touch with you, maybe they know somebody in their family who's just been diagnosed, how do they get in touch with Dementia NI?
Absolutely. Well, again, go to our website, dementiani.org. There's a referral form on there. And if you've got a formal diagnosis of dementia, you can send off the referral form to us, and a local facilitator in your area will give you a call and link you in with your local empowerment group, and you'll be able to go along there and meet other people with dementia, and they'll offer each other peer support. You'll find it confidence building. You'll be able to sort of share strategies on ways to deal with the challenges that dementia may bring. And as Martin says, just have a good time, just have a bit of chat and relax and enjoy yourself. So it's really the power of peer support that our groups bring about. So absolutely anybody out there who thinks it may be helpful to them, please do get in touch.
Okay, and the song, The Journey, they can check it out on YouTube for themselves, and I would imagine it's available for download as well.
It's on iTunes, available for download, and it's on our website, dementiani.org as well, and it's on our Facebook page, so hopefully they won't miss it.
Brilliant. Well, Jane, thank you for coming in. Martin, thank you for coming in as well and sharing your story with us.
Thank you. Again, as much help as we can get for Dementia NI. If they saved my life, they can save many other people's lives. And without them, I wouldn't be here. So there's still hope. And I'm proof that there's still hope. And I hope people listen to this and donate. All our money stays in Northern Ireland. Doesn't go anywhere else. It stays in Northern Ireland. Dementia NI keeps it in Northern Ireland. And Jane and every single one of them, I don't know what I had to do. I know I wouldn't be here. I just wouldn't be here. Martin, I can't thank them enough.
Thank you for sharing your story. So there we go, Dementia NI, a charity that's doing so much good. Download the single now from Cora Kelly. It's called The Journey. That's all we have time for on the show this week. Going to play us out with some more fabulous local music. This time singer-songwriter Paul Casey is back with a brand new album. He's also playing Glastonbury this year, and this is his current single. This is called You Are. See you next week. Bye-bye.
sets me free. When leaves are falling from the trees, my love, oh, you fill me up. Whispers, you whisper in dreams.